Lately, I've seen a lot of instances in people getting distracted and losing sight of what they really want to do. And I would ask you to take a hard look at yourself and determine whether or not this business acquisition process is a hobby or if it's a business. Had a circumstance this week with a mentee that's passionate about the industry he's in. It makes no money. But I said to him, this is a current business. I said, is this a hobby or is this a business? Because the number one objective of a business is to provide a return for its shareholders. If it isn't doing that, if you haven't got a plan to make it profitable, then in large part it's a hobby. And I would like you to take a look at your current acquisition program and say to yourself, am I treating it with the importance and the dedication and the effort that it deserves if it's a business and if it's a priority? Many people have a job. They know when to get there. They know what they have to do. They know the behavior which is acceptable at work and not acceptable at work. And they also understand the consequences if they don't conform to those requirements. If they're consistently late, if they consistently don't do their work, if they do activities during work that aren't conducive to a workplace environment, you can use your imagination, there's a myriad of those, they will eventually be terminated and asked to leave. So if you take a look at your current activities, and most of the time if you do a time log and say, how am I spending my time, you'll see, how many times do I end up doing the things that are required to move this business acquisition program forward? Are you tracking the number of calls, the number of letters, the number of emails, the number of hours spent, the activities? Prioritizing those is most important. If you are, great. If you're conversely saying, well, yeah, I'll get to this next week, but there's a whole lot of other things that I want to do now, and you look at those, and those aren't in the scheme of things the real priorities, but mainly distractions, then how serious are you about this? I've said this a lot of times. This process is simple. Simple is not the same as easy. I've recently talked about putting together a Hall of Fame, and I've gotten an awful lot of responses. Many of those people I've never talked to, period. They've used my materials, but I've never talked to them. And it's interesting to see the people who succeed. Do they have other things to do? Sure. One of the people that succeeded had 12-hour shifts alternating, still was able to acquire a business. Did he prioritize his time? Did he prioritize his activities? I bet he did. And so take a look at that. Take a look at where you're spending your time. Remember the tools that you end up having to use or should use. The Ivy Lee method is one. Every night before the next day, sit down, write the things that you want to accomplish, and put a time next to them. And then track what you're doing. Track not only your time, but the activities. And you'll be able to tell week from week, am I doing more activities that lead to success, or have I not? A lot of times things like affirmations get very exciting in the beginning, but consistency and discipline is what will eventually rule the day. And if affirmations, for instance, don't excite you anymore, take a look at redoing those affirmations. Oftentimes when people hit a rough patch, I say, are you doing your affirmations? Well, I was, but not so much anymore. How about Ivy Lee? Yeah, I was, but no, not anymore. So sometimes you've just got to say, okay, these are the tasks I need to do every day, and let's just get consistent and disciplined in doing those. And if you do those, I think you will be much more successful. If you're on my mailing list, great. If you're not, go over to brucewhipple.com, just grab a free report, and you'll be on the mailing list. You'll get podcast each week, video each week. And if you want to go to that free class directly, go.brucewhipple.com/free class. But think about whether you're treating this journey and acquisition program as a hobby or a business. And if you look at that with sober, clear eyes, I think you're going to be able to see that you can make some improvements that'll improve your performance and your results.